Okay, I did not expect the movie to make me actually give a shit about John Walker, but here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome if you happen to be new here. For today's review video, I'm taking a look at Marvel's Thunderbolts. This is an ensemble cast, primarily led by Florence Pugh and David Harbour, along with Sebastian Stan and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. This sees the return of some minor characters from the MCU over the past like 6-7 years. The story focuses on Yelena Belova, who is the sister of Black Widow, as well as people that we have encountered before in the past. We have Ava, aka Ghost, of course the Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan, who is making his return as well, David Harbour, who is our Red Guardian, Wyatt Russell, who is John Walker, aka US Agent, and as well as Taskmaster makes an appearance as well. They are mercenaries doing the mercenary gig for the last few years under Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina. To be completely honest, when I first saw the 2 trailers I think I reacted to on the channel, I was intrigued and interested in the movie, but I didn't necessarily write it off as anything more than it's probably going to be a fun time. You know, you get a mixture of characters together, you see how they interact. It definitely gave more Guardians vibes when it comes to the character interactions. Based off the trailer, I thought it was going to have this typical big bombastic third act, and you're going to get another super team within the MCU. Was not expecting this movie to be as good as it was.
What?
I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie is actually pretty damn good. It is much more of a character piece and a character study than your typical run-of-the-mill MCU movie. I was not expecting to be as invested in the individual characters as much as I was. Definitely is carried by Florence Pugh and David Harbour's performance as Yelena and as Red Guardian. I don't personally think you need a ton of pre-knowledge going into the movie. I think people can go into this movie and actually enjoy it because the movie does tackle a lot more character-centric issues than just save the world. It is more than what the trailers lead you to believe. Action-wise, I think the movie does good on action. This movie also, I don't want to say it boasts not using a ton of CG, but you can definitely tell the direction of the movie was much more grounded in the sense of using more practical effects and on location situations. The characters are really what carry this movie. And surprisingly, with the characters in this movie, like US Agent and Ghost for all intents and purposes, they found a way to really highlight qualities that each character brings to the table. This isn't necessarily a group of people trying to do good. All of these people have well-documented past negative actions, one would say. They are mercenaries. Most of them have killed plenty of people. A few have served as villains for other heroes within the MCU. They're all not great people. The movie does focus on Yelena and Red Guardian primarily. At least Yelena is mostly the focal point for the movie in terms of her trying to find more purpose than what she is currently doing. You have your primary antagonist within the movie, but the true villain of this movie and most of the world is depression and mental health. This movie focuses greatly on the mental health and the depression that each of these characters suffer. At least for me, is presented very well. To the point where there's a moment in the movie between Yelena and her father that brought out an emotional response I was not expecting when going to see Thunderbolts. Really highlight the trauma and the depression and mental struggles that each character is having, and especially by using Bob, our new character within the movie, depicted in an interesting way without just telling people what your problems are. The solution too, it works very well for how they resolve the conflict within the movie. The inclusion of Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier, is done very well because we've already seen Bucky's journey from friend to Steve Rogers, to missing in action, to becoming a brainwashed killer, to having to find redemption and atonement for his past actions. Even though they weren't truly his, he still did them. And to have him be kind of a mentorish character within the movie for these other people who are just starting to tackle those issues, I think worked out really well. I think it's paced very well. I think the action in the movie is actually really well choreographed. Like I said, it very much focuses on being grounded, very tactile. There's not a ton of superpowers. I mean, 3 of your main people are just have some rendition of the super soldier serum flowing through them. I was very surprised at where the movie ended and how it ended and what it actually means going forward for the big Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, because this does lead directly into what I'm assuming will be the events of those movies. So there are 2 post-credit scenes. You definitely want to stick around for them. It does kind of spoil potentially an outcome for an upcoming project, but I mean, I would still say stick around for them. I mean, the second one is actually probably the longest post-credit scene I think they've done. I was very much surprised at how much of a character piece this movie was. It didn't focus heavily on the big action, bombastic set pieces. It wasn't a beam in the sky or anything like that. It definitely felt closer to what some of the previous entries in the MCU were, where they were very heavily character focused and didn't necessarily have to rely too much on the big battle to make the movie feel something heavier. I was not expecting it to be that good. It's a very good movie. I think it's paced very well. I think the interactions between all the characters, I think their relationship and just their back and forth, bouncing off of each other, works great. It makes it entertaining. It doesn't make it feel like they're just throwing jokes in for joke's sake. Again, if you have that prehistory of these characters prior to this movie, it's just, to me, it just kind of enhances the viewing experience, but it doesn't make it required to watch the movie. Did not think I would be heaping this much praise on this movie going into it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I would say this is probably one of Marvel's stronger movies. A movie that feels more character focused than action focused. Yeah, this one definitely is up there. I highly recommend checking out Marvel's Thunderbolts. I understand superhero fatigue, Marvel fatigue is a real thing. Again, you're talking to somebody who generally enjoys 99% of what Marvel has put out. 90% of what Marvel's put out. This one definitely ranks high up there in terms of like post-Endgame stuff. This is definitely a strong contender. That's all I can really say without spoiling certain stuff in the movie. So definitely check out Marvel's Thunderbolts if you have not yet. And let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you and what you think of the movie. So that is going to do it for this review. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you happen to enjoy this review, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. You can follow me on most social media listed at the end of this video. YouTube will pop up a few videos here on the side for you to enjoy. I do have some new videos on the channel, so please check them out. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until the next time, I will catch you later. See ya.